And finally, the college basketball season has arrived for the Fairmont State Fighting Falcons. It's game week, a pair of games this week in the Mountain East Conference as the season kicks off on Thursday night at West Virginia Wesleyan. So we're so happy to be back. Travis Jones along with Dwayne Cochran and the head coach of the Fairmont State Fighting Falcons, Tim Koenig, joins us. We'll be here Tuesday nights from 7 until 8 o'clock, schedule permitting, and we'll talk about why it could be permitting on Tuesday nights during the course of the show. But hoping to get 16 games in. That's the league schedule. League games only, starting on Thursday, again, the round robin, and then the Mountain East Conference tournament coming up in Wheeling in the 1st of March at West Banco Arena. So all good so far. We're ready to play basketball Thursday night. Welcome in Dwayne Cochran, my broadcast partner on the Fighting Falcons Basketball Network, and Tim Koenig, the head basketball coach at Fairmont State, entering his second season. Guys, great to see you. You know, it's only been, 7, 8 months since I've seen you guys, but it seems like it's been 2 years since we were all together. But really, if you look at the calendar, we're only, a month and a half behind our regular start time for at least games in college basketball. But what a wild journey it's been, and we're finally here.
Hey, you know what? We've had a lot of conversations. It's great to do this in person, even though, we got to make sure we're distanced. We're following all the protocols.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Yep, we're all good. So before we go forward, let's kind of go back, Tim, to where, it all ended last year in the college basketball season. And, of course, for Fairmont State, unfortunately, it had ended as you guys were literally on site to play in the NCAA tournament. If you remember back in March, the NBA was the first to shut down. Then things started to fall like dominoes, and eventually it got to the Division II tournament when they shut it down. And it was just a disappointing end to the season, certainly, for your seniors that you had on that team a year ago. Not many, of course, but here you are now, an opportunity to get a very large nucleus of that team back.
Right. Well, we were the last practice of the day at IUP. It was at 4 o'clock. We went over, and we went through our regular routine, our regular shooting and a little defensive segment. And at 4:37, I'll never forget it. 4:37, they walked down the court, shut it down. So I asked if we could play a little shooting drill, like a shooting game, to finish it up and have a little fun because the season's over.
Yep.
That didn't go over very well. I was told no, and season was over. So we had a brief team meeting, and that was it.
Yeah, and it's crazy now looking back, Dwayne, we didn't know anything about the virus back then. I mean, if you remember in March, people thought it was floating in the air, and it was on surfaces everywhere you touched. But now looking back on it, the way that it ended, like as Tim said, basically kicked out of the gym. I mean, you got to get out of here. And now, of course, we know a lot more about the virus, and we have a path forward with this season. Might look different, but path forward.
Yeah, absolutely, Travis, and thankful for that. Thankful at least to finally get the opportunity to get underway. And you can tell the kids, I was just, chatting at a distance from some of the kids in the gym out there shooting tonight, shooting by themselves, and every one of them, is can't wait to get back on the floor, and just thankful for the opportunity that they have. Like I said to Cole Von Handorf, it's only 16 games. He's like, yeah, that's 16 that we may not have, and I'll take any one of them.
Right,
so
right.
So very thankful for that, and it is. It's crazy. It's been, I've talked to you guys or texted you guys and everything like that, but to not see you and not be around, and Travis and I not do a football season together, and I don't know. It's something that every time in my life, and I get older, I think, boy, I've seen everything. No, not even close.
Right. It's crazy. We thought in our lifetime that 9/11 would be the centennial event, but unfortunately, we've gone through a few too many. Tim, let's talk first about how medically we got here and what the players have to go through in order to get us to this point and get us past this point. It's interesting. There are people out there that have the opinion that it's too dangerous to play sports, even as we sit here today. But what I'll come back with is the protocols that our players and all the student athletes at Fairmont State and all across the country at the Division II and Division I levels, the things they have to go through, honestly, they're safer than a regular student in the student body because they're tested multiple times a week and they're making smart choices because they want a season.
So I'm not obviously I'm not a doctor, but we had a conference call today, and it was mentioned there the NFL, their chief medical officer, with four of the different professional sports. From their research and the research that was presented today, that the contact of actually playing has very little. I mean, they gave the decimal. I don't remember off the top of my head. Very little transmission from there. We're very concerned now that the medical people. And by the way, Bob Cable and the athletic training staff here has been absolutely great. He's on the return to play committee for the conference. They've been absolutely huge in getting us ready to go. But it's the meeting, eating, greeting are the things that we really have to worry about, and that's where a lot of the transmission is that we're concerned with. So all of our travel protocols, any kind of we're not doing in-person meetings. All the WebEx and things like that. Have the mask, social distance to the best of our ability. Obviously, when we're playing, we're not, but we're all the research says you're actually not next to each other for 15 minutes or more when you're playing. So that's where some of that goes, and people can research it online. Like you can read the articles and do the research, but that's what we're concerned with. So all of these protocols we're being tested 3 times a week. We are distancing. We are eliminating a lot of greeting pieces. Like, for example, you're not going to see a handshake line at the end of the game.
Right.
You're not going to see, things with other teams. We're doing the best we can to stay in our bubble, and then within our bubble, we are trying to minimize close contact and obviously mask whenever possible. And we're going to show it. I mean, we have to have documentation of all of it, which we're doing. For something like a regular West Virginia Wesleyan trip, where you figure out where you're going to eat, you jump in the vans and you go and you come back. It's a little more complicated, but you know what? To be able to play, like you said with Cole, these guys, if we need to do more paperwork and follow more protocols, the guys are extremely disciplined and they just want to play.
Yeah. From the NCAA standpoint, so let's kind of talk about how that looks. 16 games. However, Tim, there's a minimum of 11 to qualify for the NCAA Division II tournament. So you have to play at least 11. Hopefully we play more than 11 when we play the full 16. But what are some of the things that we could see happen this season in our league and other leagues in order to get these teams to 11 games?
Well, right. To be playoff eligible, you got to play 11. So the goal, and again on the call today, the goal is for everybody in our conference to get to 11 games. Anything over that, icing on the cake. So the schedule's in place for the 16, like you said. We have a makeup date on Mondays, so if there's any cancellation or postponement that's necessary, we'll play on Monday. Is it possible to play other days? I don't know. I know we are preparing, and our administration, if we need to play other days, we will. But I know the conference has said, plan on this first week Thursday, Sunday, and then subsequent weeks Wednesday, Saturday, with every Monday being a makeup game. A potential makeup date. And then with that, if there's 2 teams that are able to play, in theory, if something happens to a team that we're supposed to play, and there's just pick a random team, a random school that's available to play, we'll go play. It'll get figured out. Exactly the logistics, that's up in the air, but it's been stated in the policy of the conference is if there are able-bodied teams for a game, we have a schedule, this week for Thursday, Sunday, Wesleyan and D&E. In theory, that's what we're doing. Yeah. In actual practice, we could play anybody.
So you conceivably could play a team 3-4 times this season in order just to get to that number 11.
Get to the number.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, we've already seen some crazy things in college basketball, Dwayne. I know Jared Calhoun, former coach here in the Horizon League, they're doing a doubleheader on the weekends. They're playing the same team on Friday and then turn around and playing them again on Saturday just to get some games in. So
UMKC played the same team twice in a day. They got 2 games in a day, doubleheader. 1 o'clock at 6. It wasn't baseball. It was basketball. They did doubleheader.
That was an old joke story years ago that UDC pulled that off. Trying to get something eligible. Back in the Joe Retton era, they talked about UDC playing here and then catching somebody on the way home and playing a night game like at Shepherd or somewhere like that. But no, that's crazy. But I was funny. I was looking at some of the Horizon, the Calhoun's League, Youngstown, and everything, and how they just played back to back against Cleveland State. I think. And
when the schedule came out, I did a double take. I'm like, this is a typo. They entered this in wrong. But they are, and that's it's kind of where we are in 2020 and 2021. But again, we're just happy again. Men's basketball, women's basketball starting this week. Wrestling is also starting here at Fairmont State. Volleyball is not far behind, and as Dwayne mentioned, football's on the horizon. They'll play a 5-game schedule in the month of March, and then play a Mountain East Conference championship game as well. So 6 potential football games for Jason Woodman's crew coming up in March.
It's just it's unprecedented. I feel bad for a guy like Chris Thomas, the sports information director. He's spread thin anyway in the season, and now you've got men's basketball, women's basketball, wrestling, volleyball, football. What else? Soccer going to do anything or?
Yeah. Soccer.
So I mean, I don't know how you clone yourself and try to be all those places at once. I mean, that's just absolute craziness. But the bottom line through all that is that the kids have hung in there, and that's who I feel bad for. I mean, I'm just a chance, and especially the upperclassmen. When you've come, you've built, and you've known this your whole life, and you're running through this, and then all of a sudden you run into something like this, and I mean, I have a little niece that plays at high school basketball, was 2 wins away from a state championship, got the plug pulled, and now it's pulled till March 1st, I guess.
Yep.
And she's a senior, so she may not even play. And I just feel bad for that, and I relate that to a lot of these kids. And it's tough. It's tough to hang in there and keep practicing and going through the repetitions. And, you see a lot of guys that say, man, you know what, enough's enough. We've seen some of that happen with, I think, some of our football guys that they graduate and move on. And you got to respect that, but at the same time, I'm just hopefully everything gets back to so-called normal or as close to normal as we can get.
Well, I saw a quote from Usain Bolt and shared it with the guys. And again, our guys' attitudes have been great through this. But Usain Bolt said, "I trained 4 years for 9 seconds." Some people, train for a couple months, it doesn't work out, and they shut it down. 4 years for 9 seconds. And, I had to make the joke. I mean, I don't know how fast I'd do it, run that. It'd be a lot longer than 9 seconds. But it's just a nice reference point. Again, it's very unfortunate. It's very difficult. But to try to do the best they can, have the best mindset possible. No, I mean, it's easier said than done. And I'm proud of our guys.
Yeah, silver lining is we'll never take anything for granted again. I mean, little things.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Travis. You don't.
All right, we'll talk some basketball. Let's get into some hoops. When we come back, we'll first start with what this roster looks like for Fairmont State, and then we'll jump in a little bit later on in the program to our first opponent, West Virginia Wesleyan, team that's had a lot of turnover from last year. And we'll talk about the Bobcats and the trip down to the Rockefeller Center coming up on Thursday night. Don't forget, a reminder, no fans are allowed in, at least for the first couple of weeks here in the Mountain East Conference, so you can rely on a couple of different ways. If you're not near a computer, we'll have the call for you, of course, on our flagship station, Sky 106.5. Also, live streaming video on fightingfalcons.com. Plus, we've added a special feature this year to help you get a little bit closer to the team since you don't have the access you typically have, and that is our Falcon postgame show, which we'll unveil on Thursday for the first time. Coach Koenig will join us, and also some select players after the game, and you can watch that a couple of different ways. You can follow the Fairmont State Twitter account, or you can also like the Fighting Falcons athletic page on Facebook, and we'll pop on live there with live video as soon as Coach is done speaking with the team, and we'll get it's interactive too, so you can ask questions of not only Coach but the student athletes after the game. So we look forward to that starting on Thursday, a little added feature. Tonight's show presented by Valley Distributing, Ford Funeral Home, Dan Cava, Vincent's Lumber, and Harry Green 7 Acres. We're back after this on the home of the Fighting Falcons.
Asthma symptoms can attack anywhere, like on a city street. Now you can get fast relief anywhere with new improved Primatene Mist, the only FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. So whether you need relief of symptoms at the park or at your kitchen table. Primatene Mist starts working quickly, opening up your airways to restore free breathing. For temporary relief of mild symptoms of intermittent asthma, use Primatene Mist and breathe easy again. Available at CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens. Use as directed.
You know where you were when the Golden State Killer was arrested. You're a moderator on the Zodiac Killer subreddit. But now you're in search of a new challenge. Enter Solve, the hit podcast that puts you at the center of the investigation. Solve is like no other murder mystery podcast. You'll track down killers hiding in plain sight.
You all right?
Yeah, it's just disturbing. You ever seen anything like this before?
Not like this.
Listen to Solve wherever you get your podcasts.
Asthma symptoms can attack anywhere, like on a city street. Now, you can get fast relief anywhere with new improved Primatene Mist, the only FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. So whether you need relief of symptoms at the park or at your kitchen table, Primatene Mist starts working quickly, opening up your airways to restore free breathing. For temporary relief of mild symptoms of intermittent asthma, use Primatene Mist and breathe easy again. Available at CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens. Use as directed.
Today on Hey Culligan, the best things in life are free. Water tests. Let's go to Candace.
Hey, Koenig, how do I learn more about my water?
Candace, let me just test the waters here.
Okay.
Literally test your water.
Oh,
For free.
free?
Free, Candace. In-home water tests for free. So you know more about your water and how to make it better with Culligan water. And Candace,
Yeah?
we're already on the way.
Oh, good.
Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, our arms are wide open to the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Space Force, and the DoD. All are welcome to join, whether you're active duty, a veteran, or if you have family who have served. We've always got your six. That's why members earn and save $361 more per year by banking with us. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA. Visit NavyFederal.org. Dollar value based on 2019 study by Navy Federal.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Lately, we're doing a lot more at home, which means we're doing a lot less driving. With pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate, you only pay for the miles you drive. Drive less, save 50% with Allstate. You've never been in better hands. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Not applicable in California. Based on annual premium paid by Allstate Standard Auto customers versus Allstate pay-per-mile customers who drive an average of 4,000 miles a year. Savings vary subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates. Copyright 2020 Allstate Insurance Company.
Falcon Hoops are on Sky 106.5.
All right, welcome back. Tim Koenig Show continues, and we are on location at the Feaster Center Joe Retton Arena. We're kind of like in the Batcave. Like we can't really tell you where we are. We'd have to knock you out before we bring you here, and then bring you back once we took you out. No, we miss seeing the folks, and hopefully, next year we can get back to being on location at a public establishment so you can come and watch the show. But certainly we appreciate you listening and watching. A reminder, the Tim Koenig Show is streamed video on those two platforms that I told you about, Facebook and Twitter before. All right, we got a ton to get into here, and already 20 minutes into the show. So let's delve into some basketball conversation here. Fairmont 23-7 a year ago, 16-6 in the league, and you look at what this team returns from last year's club. You first start with Dale Bonner, leading scorer at 18 a game. Cole Von Handorf's back for his senior season at 16 a game. Isaiah Sanders at 14 a game. Shem Golick at 8. You got Washington at 6. Seth Yalkin at 5 per game. So you've got a ton of experience back. I mentioned earlier an error, senior class. We didn't have a senior a year ago on this basketball team. So the one unfortunate is an injury will keep Kenzie Melko Marshall out this season. So that's a blow. That's 15 points and 5 rebounds per game. But, Tim, I would have to imagine that you had some sleep some good sleep this summer when you've got a roster like that returning the 123 games and an opportunity to add to it.
Yeah, I mean, we like our team. We like where we are. Kenzie, it's a blow. He's had a great career here, on and off the court. So we're just very grateful for everything he's done. For the program on and off the court. It's tough. I know it's tough, but he's going to prepare and work his tail off to have a professional career. That's the plan. This spring, get healthy, get ready to roll. So I know that definitely is a curveball, to our prep and adjusting a little bit how we play, kind of trying to fit some pieces together. Obviously, he was a big part of the plans, but no, I mean 4 of the 5 starters are back.
Yep.
Seth is really coming on, playing really well. We have other returners as well. I mean Elijah Washington, Jack Kelsheimer, the guys that are veteran. Some games had bigger roles than others. But really helped us. It really helped us. Steve Solomon, finally healthy. Jack Kelsheimer, both those guys are coming off of, season-ending injuries the year prior. So Steve is looking a lot better. Jack, same with him. Then we got some new guys. Andrew Mills. He's somebody that we're looking at. To help us out. Brendan Paul, another new guy. Kyle Whippen, we just got him. Got him and his brother Chase at semester. That gives us some size. There's definitely things that you look at and you want to get better at, and adding more length is something we want to do to this roster. And we think that you can always get better. You always want to get better, but we really think we've added to some of the weaknesses.
You added a guy named Dobbs too, didn't you?
Well, that was, I'm sure it was going to be a segment all to itself, so I let that.
Sorry,
I didn't know.
Ruined that, Travis.
Yeah,
I was excited. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh no, he's going to start for us. I don't want to be a buzzkill. He's doing absolutely great. He's starting for us.
He's going to play varsity this year.
Is he
yeah,
We're
right.
going to move him up.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. The guys joke. He's the mayor of Fairmont. So in all the
his dad was. Let's not put him over Pops.
Well, I've seen him shoot a jump shot, and it still looks pretty good.
Still looks pretty good.
Yeah. So keep rehabbing. I heard he had a little injury there. So, but no, Chris has done a really good job, and obviously some of the promotional materials. Obviously, Zion's a piece to it, but yeah, Zion's going to be a key piece for us as well. So we're hoping to be able to have more balance up and down the roster, especially a little more depth off the bench as well than we had last year, and a little more size, and go from there.
What I like about a Zion Dobbs, just from my perspective, he goes and he tests the waters at JMU, James Madison, and gets a little action, gets his feet wet and everything, and he quickly, I don't know, whatever choice, for whatever reason decides, maybe I'll come back to Fairmont. And personally, for me, I think that's a great decision. He could have maybe went down to JM and maybe played a little bit more this year and maybe a little bit more as a junior. But he comes back here and he gets a chance to compete right away for a starting spot and earn that starting spot. Mm-hmm. And he's going to find out what a lot of kids, I think, that maybe have not played here at this level. This basketball is pretty good. It really is really good. We're watching a lot of D1 games now, and I have people comment to me, man, they've gone 6-7 minutes without scoring. I'm like, that doesn't happen in our league.
No, 6-7 seconds.
Yeah, you're up and down the floor, and I had my wife even says, do we shoot the ball a lot better at our level, or it just seems like we shoot a lot of threes and they go in. Not just meaning Fairmont, but the Mountain East Conference in general, and I just and I'm happy and excited for him, because I think he's got 3 great years hopefully here at Fairmont State, maybe 4, I guess, maybe.
Right, this year doesn't count
because it doesn't count. So, and really can take advantage of this and really have a great career.
He's all over the court. We don't really know what position he is, and that's okay. I don't know. He had told me, they kind of said, well, you may be the 1, you may be the 2, you may be the 3. And we just said, just go out there and take care of the ball. Mm-hmm. He's shooting it really well in practice, well above 50% for the season. We stat all our scrimmages when we play, in every drill we do. and rebound the ball extremely well. And he's going to play all over the court, inside, outside. He's going to guard pretty much anybody. So yeah, I mean he's going to have a big role on this team. And no, when we recruited him, yeah, I mean we don't promise anything to come on in and compete and earn it, and he's earned it.
Yeah. What about Dale Bonner? Fabulous freshman season, of course, last year. 46%, field goal percentage 46%, hit 39 threes a year ago, led you with 158 assists on the year, 69 steals, 18 points per game. As you've watched him mature just in this offseason, how much better is he, and how much better can he get?
He's stronger. The tangible stuff. He's stronger. His jump shot's better. He's shooting it from the perimeter better. Better left hand. He's better. He's the things, 2 or 3 things he wanted to work on. He's gotten better at it. But he's competing. I mean, and his effort and his just enthusiasm is so contagious to the team. When he's pressuring the ball in our press in the half court, and he's the one that ball's hopping, really moving the ball, getting other people involved when we're practicing. That stuff is just so helpful, and those things don't go in the stat sheet. His leadership and just confidence, not just on the court, but when telling a guy what they need to do in something, or on the court, or telling one of our new guys, oh yeah, I've had that professor before, it's tough. But here's some tips for you. You see that and you say, oh man, this guy's I know he's a redshirt sophomore, but he's talking like a senior. So there's a reason why he was voted captain. We have all upperclassmen as captain, and Dale Bonner. So our players vote for the captains, and he was voted. Cole's a unanimous. Cole was unanimous captain. Our other captains were Kenzie, Steve, Jack, and and Cole, and then obviously now with Dale as the underclassman. So yeah, I mean, the guys obviously respect him.
Hey, I love his game. I mean, the kid's super, super talented, and I really am excited, and like Travis said, just to see how much he's going to improve from last year to this year. And the only chink that I saw in his armor last year, being a redshirt freshman, was his free throw shooting. And why that stood out to me more is because the guy is so great at getting himself to the line. He got to the line, I think, more than anybody on our team last year.
By far.
And when you get there, you got to take advantage of it. And if he improves that, gets that 68% free throw shooting up into the 70s, 80s, that 18 points goes to 23, 24 a game. And just, and that's just, it's you always got to have something to work at.
Right. And the shot's looking better. But,
that's
hey, on Thursday, he's put a lot of time in.
Well, that's great.
And, the results will hopefully be there as well.
All right, we'll talk more. Got a couple other guys we want to hit on for sure. We'll jump into some Wesleyan conversation coming up a little bit later on. One thing I did want to clear up, though, if you would test positive for COVID and we would have to play without you, is Dwayne in the wings? Because he has the answers to everything. So I just figured.
Just ask me. Right?
Are you battling with Devin? How does that go? Is it?
I've been here longer than Devin. I've trained under the best.
Let me ask you a question.
All right, you're in it. If you're with Retton, you're in. It's
Haswell, Calhoun, TK. I've been with them all.
I saw earlier on. Is your daughter now coaching?
She is coaching. Yes.
So we finally have a coach.
Yeah.
In the
legitimate
coach in the Cochran family.
She is. She's assistant coach to acrobatics and tumbling.
There you go. Well, you know where he's going to be every meet, right behind her. You're not doing that. That pyramid's a little sloppy. All right, we'll take a break. Tim Koenig Show, presented by Valley Distributing, continues after this timeout on the home of the Fighting Falcons.
This hour of music brought to you by Jenkins Subaru. Right now, Jenkins Subaru has over 60 2021 Foresters on the lot. Get 2.49% for 72 months. They won't last long, so visit Jenkins Subaru in Bridgeport or online at JenkinsSubaruWB.com. Keep thinking Jenkins.
You know where you were when the Golden State Killer was arrested. You're a moderator on the Zodiac Killer subreddit. But now you're in search of a new challenge. Enter Solve, the hit podcast that puts you at the center of the investigation. Solve is like no other murder mystery podcast. You'll track down killers hiding in plain sight.
You all right?
Yeah, it's just disturbing. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Not like this.
Listen to Solve wherever you get your podcasts.
I worry about lots of things. My finances, my grandkids.
If you're 65 or older, you have enough things to worry about. Pneumococcal pneumonia shouldn't be one of them. Even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for this potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13-valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 13.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. Don't take on the IRS alone. If you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. The experts at Optima specialize in a powerful IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-567-2261. 800-567-2261. 800-567-2261.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Buying some pretzel sticks?
Excuse me?
This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless.
Okay.
What if you didn't eat all those pretzel sticks by the end of the month, so this store took them back?
Good luck.
That's how some wireless companies are with your data, but TracFone Wireless gives you unlimited carryover data with active service, so you keep what you pay for. Plans start at $20 a month.
Wow, that's cool.
Sir, are you bothering the customers?
Yeah, hang on.
This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control.
Available at major retailers. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
The home of the maroon and white. FSU basketball on Sky 106.5.
All right, welcome back. It is the Tim Koenig Show. It is the season debut for the 2021 college basketball season. We're here every Tuesday night with the head coach of the Fairmont State Fighting Falcons. Thanks for joining us over the air on Sky 106.5, or if you're watching the Facebook Live video feed. If you have a question for the coach, our studio producer, Chris Thomas, is monitoring the chat room. So if you have a question, throw it out there, and we'll get it to the coach in one of the breaks. You know, you mentioned a couple of guys about defensive intensity. We haven't even talked about Isaiah Sanders, a guy that is all over the floor, and you can't. You know, it's one of those, if a guy's chewing a gum, he can tell you what flavor it is, type of guys. You know, Tim, when you look back at last year, gave up 80 points per game, which I know is probably, I don't know, 10, 9, 8, maybe more than you want. I mean, I know you'd love to give up 60, but in this league, people are going to score. So I know that that's something you wanted to work on and get better at in the offseason. And, of course, rebounding is something we'll discuss. If you look at the stat sheet, that's really the only deficiency that Fairmont had last year was rebounding the basketball. But going into this offseason, talk to me about your mindset defensively. Where did you need to get better? What type of things did you need to get better at?
Rebounding. The second chance points were just, I mean, it was unacceptable. But, no, the guy's just focusing on it. You know, there's a lot of I played well if I scored. You know, just changing the mindset of you know, we've got to get stops. How good are we in transition? It's a lot easier scoring in transition when you get a stop, a steal, or a rebound than having to constantly take it out, take the ball out of the net, take it out. that's one of our big strengths is scoring in transition. So, the approach you talk about Isaiah Sanders. I mean, he's very good at the front of that press. Good in the half court, defensively, doing a good job on the glass. We got to keep telling him to go to the board. Every time. He's that kind of athlete and that kind of player that it's hard to keep him off the glass. Sometimes the best guy that does it is himself. So just continually preaching, that approach every single possession to do it. But no, defensively, we just had lapses. We had lapses last year and wanted to increase the depth, increase the length, and then just increase the level of intensity, possession by possession. Easier said than done. It sounds great, but you just got to do it.
Yeah, you look back to the 7 losses last year, you did not lose a basketball game where you gave up less than 80 points. So, you kept everybody below 79 or below, you win the game. And that kind of the puzzling thing a little bit defensively, and again, this wasn't a terrible defensive team. I mean, it was a click off. But as Tim mentioned, we have hustle guys. I mean, we got guys that will work defensively and get after you. So it just comes down to little things, right, Dwayne?
Yeah, it does. And then some of that was second chance points that drive you crazy. Not maybe understanding where the rebound's coming off the rim and position yourself. And that just comes from a little bit more basketball IQ and shots coming from way outside, understand where that rebound's going to come if it comes. I think you make a great point adding to your length. Length defensively can wreak havoc. When Thomas Winbush was here and playing the front of the press under Calhoun, what he could do out there on that perimeter, and a little bit like what Isaiah does, right now. And you talk about Isaiah, and I love this kid. I thought it typically he transfers in. It was a little bit of a feeling out period for him till he got comfortable and maybe got accepted or whatever, and then he found his niche on this team and proved to not him. You don't think he had to prove to himself. We knew he could play, but maybe to everybody else how good he was. And he kicked in, and I think he was one of our better players without a question down the stretch. I
mean, look how efficient he was. Look at his
super
percentages.
Efficiency, yeah.
I mean,
he shot the ball well from three. He didn't shoot it a lot, but he shot it well. I think he needs to take a few more.
Right.
And just other things. He can get to the rim. He plays with that high motor constantly. I just love watching him play and love his attitude and everything like that.
His shot selection's really good. I know he can really shoot it, but his percentages are good. He's just a really smart player.
Shim Golick, let's talk about his season last year and what he has gotten better at in the offseason. I mean, to me, probably not to you, you recruited him, but to me, and I think Dwayne as well, he was really the surprise of the season. I mean, he's a kid that, came in. Some of those European kids, sometimes they come with a reputation that they're not physical. It's more of a finesse game over there. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I mean, he came in and he would bang and, did a lot of how many charges did he take last year? I mean,
I forgot. I had it.
You had the count down for a while, yeah.
I had the count ready, but I guess it's so long ago I forgot. You guys brought the notes. I needed that note.
Where's your notes?
I needed my Shem Golick note. No, but he's played at a high level. He's played at in that DMV Catholic School League when he came here in the States. He played for the under-18 national team in Poland. He's played high-level competition. So it's very hard to expect a freshman to come in here and play, and especially play many minutes, having that kind of role. But he's played against some elite competition. So that really helped him last year. And then he's the ultimate glue guy. I mean, you guys saw it. Yeah. We don't call plays for him. Sometimes he doesn't score. Sometimes he tip dunks at the end of the game. Loose ball hits the three. I mean, he does a little bit of everything. But he really solidified our interior defense. I know he was our rim protector last year, not by blocking shots, but by taking charges. So that really helped us, and it really helped to have a guy on the floor that made the right play, but didn't need the ball and didn't need to make a play for himself. He really screened well and passed well, which helped those other guys get really good looks.
He's a player. Travis, you and I talked, and he did. He kind of surprised us because Travis and I, we were guilty of that too. We've seen, some foreign players. We've seen foreign players in this league. They'll stand outside, shoot the three, not really want to go in and bang, and they have a tendency sometimes to be great one night and not so great the other night. And with Shem, you could just see him getting more and more comfortable out there and doing things, doing the dirty work, doing, and like you said, he doesn't have to score to be successful, and he understands that. I think it's a bonus when he does.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he can shoot the ball a little better from three, that makes him even harder to defend because he can put it on the floor and go to the rim.
Right.
So I'm anxious to see how much he's improved.
That's something that we wanted him to improve. Perimeter defense, guarding. I mean, there's some really quick guards in this league, quick wings. Being able to do that, and even when teams downsize and really play with 5 perimeters, being able to guard, on the perimeter at a high level, and then, being able to hit the open shot, like you said. He got some good looks. Sometimes he made them, sometimes he didn't, but he's put in a lot of time, a lot of effort on that, and there's he's got the green light.
Yeah, it's crazy. 40 minutes in, we've talked some player. We haven't talked about Cole, and it's no knock on Cole, but
right.
But
first team all league.
Yeah,
he doesn't even get to talk.
He's just you almost know, and you know what you're going to get from him, and you expect it. So you really don't even have to. I don't have to ask you what do you expect from Cole Von Andorf this year because I know what you expect from him.
Yeah, he's a leader. Yeah, he's the leader. He runs pre-practice drills when I'm on calls with the commissioner, and there's breakdown with other Coach Coomer and Coach Devin Heath Granger. Those guys got other guys in breakdown. He's running a defensive drill before this practice starts. While we're on the various COVID protocol meetings, we've had quite a few of those. So anything from that to obviously. Filling it up, putting it in the hole, diving on the floor for loose balls. He's our leader.
Yeah, just a great kid. I mean, you'd love to. If I had a daughter, I would love for Cole to marry her. I mean, that's just one of those kids.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great leader. So here's the question: how do you, if you're a newcomer on this team outside of Zion Dobbs, how do you get minutes on this? I mean, this. You're going to play with 2 basketballs this year?
You know what? We if you can rebound, you can figure out a way to play. I'll tell you that right now.
So that's the key to the floor?
If you can defend and rebound, take care of the ball, you got a chance. Field goal attempts are really important. That's what we talk all the time. That you talked about the team, Calhoun's team, that 2016 team. You'd go into the game, on the other side, you could shoot it mid, high 50s, even 60, and still lose because they just bury you on the glass, rebounding, and they turn you over.
Yeah.
So we really are focused on winning that turnover margin, winning the rebounding margin, and then shot selection, being smart, knowing what you can and cannot do. You do those things, you can play for us. Mm-hmm. That's where we are. There's a lot of question marks and rotations. We don't have a scrimmage. We don't have exhibition games.
Yeah.
So after our top 6, there's a lot of questions, even on the coaching staff. I mean, it's one thing to constantly scrimmage in practice, another thing to do it in a game. So we have a lot of questions we have to still figure out and still iron out, during the year. And you saw last year, some of the rotations change. Mm-hmm. We do what makes sense. And, Wesleyan is going to pose some potential problems that we don't look ahead, but D&E, I mean, each team's different. Each game's different. Mm-hmm. So our bench could be utilized differently according. But we're going to play those top 5 or 6. We know that. Some of those other guys can kind of, mix and match and kind of play those chess pieces depending on the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned earlier Seth Youngkin and how he's gotten better. And you could see that late in the year. Right. And, again, I'm happy for him because there was a period where Seth kind of got buried on the bench, but he didn't hang his head. And I remember him talking to me one time and said, I'm in my situation because of myself, and I've got to get myself out of it. And down the stretch, he found a way to get out of that. And you just saw a kid that kind of like re-got his confidence in himself, and hopefully that's carried over. And Elijah Washington, he did some stuff, for us. I think up at the tournament he hit a couple big threes against Glenville, I believe. And, that's a kid I think that can help too, because he's a big body and he needs to rebound better. And if he can stroke the three a little bit better this year, And like you said, you can find some, but I'm like you, Travis. If I'm young on this team, one thing I figured out is I better play super hard anytime I get a chance on the floor. And I better play smart, and I better play within the system. Otherwise, I'm not playing.
Correct.
So I'm anxious to see which one of the young kids do figure it out and do understand that in the early going. You only got 16 games here, so it's not like,
Right. It's similar to a college football season, as opposed to, there's, and that's, the approach. Each game is a playoff game, from that standpoint, especially not knowing how many you're going to get. So, no, our guys understand that. And there's the young guys, they're doing a really good job. I mean, they're working hard. It's hard to come in from high school and play at the pace and the intensity. Not just that we play. I mean, look at these other teams in the league. Up and down the league, the intensity and pace, you talked about it. I mean, your wife said, that it's so slow, they're not making shots. I mean, at times it's a track meet.
Yeah, high scoring league in America.
It's just kids don't understand that. They really do not understand. And that's one of my favorite things to watch, is be it football or be it in basketball, when these kids come and they're the high school champs and the greatest things, and then they come up here and all of a sudden they realize, you're playing against men, and they're getting up and down the floor and they're doing things you don't see high school kids do, and it's a whole different game. And when they figure it out, it's great, but sometimes it takes kids a while to do that.
Right.
Season opener against Wesleyan. It's always my favorite game of the year, and I'll tell you why. Because it all comes together. I mean, it's the first game. We talk with Coach Koenig going into the game. We talk about everybody on the roster, and you think, you know what? Everybody's got a chance. Everybody's got. Then you get in that first game, and then it's truth time. The truth is told, and you find out who's trusted at that point and who's not trusted at that point. It's always interesting to see. And I think what makes this opener even more interesting is you're playing one of the few teams, if not the only team in this league, that doesn't want to score 100 points. And, so I think you'll probably get a little better idea about this team maybe this time next week than we will Thursday night, because this is football term, this is a triple option team you're playing on Thursday night. It's a team that doesn't necessarily they certainly don't want to get up and down with us.
Right. Well, correct. Their team is different than last year.
Yep.
So they were extremely skilled, very methodical, like you said. This team, we don't know exactly how they're going to play. So they've got maybe a little less skilled, but more athletic, quicker, faster. The lineup that they could put out there is a team that may actually play a little faster. Whereas, Luka and Dusan were incredibly skilled, especially at their size. Whereas you look up and down that roster, Ross Young, Dalen Lee, these guys are some athletes. They can score. Tommy Pope at the point, he can really get in and pressure, and handle the ball against pressure and attack. They're agreed. It may be a slightly different team. We'll kind of see how it is, and that's the beauty of this year, with no exhibition games, with no scrimmages. You think and then you tip that ball, and then who knows? You just go play.
For sure, they know more about you than you know about them right now. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll talk more about Wesley. Nick Patella in his second season with the Bobcats in our final segment. That's coming up next. Tim Koenig Show continues with you every Tuesday night here at the Feaster Center as we talk Fairmont State Fighting Falcon basketball. Tonight's show and every show presented by Valley Distributing. Back after this timeout on the home of the Fighting Falcons.
I worry about lots of things. My finances, my grandkids.
If you're 65 or older, you have enough things to worry about. Pneumococcal pneumonia shouldn't be one of them. Even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for this potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13-valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 13.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World.
The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for the previews to start in a movie theater.
Hey, you want anything? Popcorn? Soda? No, nothing?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Carmen's startup found an angel investor, but now they're asking for a miracle from her development team.
Hello, this is Carmen. That's exciting news. I guess we could launch early.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
You know where you were when the Golden State Killer was arrested. You're a moderator on the Zodiac Killer subreddit. But now you're in search of a new challenge. Enter Solve, the hit podcast that puts you at the center of the investigation. Solve is like no other murder mystery podcast. You'll track down killers hiding in plain sight.
You all right?
Yeah, it's just disturbing. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Not like this.
Listen to Solve wherever you get your podcasts.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? Yes. It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Falcon Hoops are on Sky 106.5.
Welcome back. Final segment. Tonight's show, the maiden voyage of the Tim Koenig Show for the 2021 season. Fairmont will tip the season off coming up on Thursday night at West Virginia Wesleyan against Sunday at home to D&E. No fans allowed. Thus far, we'll keep you posted on that. So, again, you can watch the live stream at fightingfalcons.com. It'll also include our radio broadcast, or if you're away from your computer, you can listen to us over the air on Sky 106.5, or if you want to hear the audio version, we're also available on the Sky app. You can download that for free. All right, Nick Patel, just a couple more quick thoughts here on Wesleyan. You look back to last year, 12-18 on the year. They only returned 3 of their top 10 scores from a year ago, but it's 2 real athletic kids. You mentioned Dalen Lee and Ross Young. So, Tim, how hard has it been when you look at this roster and, you know, when you get in this league, you see guys that are on the rosters that you're familiar with because you're in the recruiting circles and you're familiar, and most everybody in the league will recruit, you know, at least regionally for the most part. How difficult is it to prepare for a team like Wesleyan with no exhibition game, no scrimmage, no film? I mean, basically, this is a new team from a year ago.
Mm-hmm. YouTube, we try to watch anything we can on these guys. They've got a foreign kid that we, you know, So not all of it's regional. Some they're going international for some of their guys.
International, yeah.
So you do the best you can, and what's crazy is we're going to be watching those warm-ups to see everybody just how they move, how they shoot. We know the returners. We have a good grasp of what we think, but it's every year. You tell the guys every year. Last year against Millersville, we think we know X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, you saw that first half. We didn't really know what we were doing that first half. So, but came back and made adjustments in game. But we're always looking to make in-game adjustments, and obviously earlier in the season when you don't have as much at your grasp before the game, there's more emphasis each media timeout, obviously at halftime, but we may make adjustments at it. First time out, we may adjust how we play, certain personnel.
11. Well, I wanted to ask you 11 games to get in the tournament. Let's say you only play 11. Where do you think the cutoff is to get in the tournament with 11 games in terms of wins? I mean, now you talk about every game in basketball is important, but this is really important every game.
It's the opposite of when people joke about the NBA, where they do the Tuesday and pick a random month where they don't really care as much as it is towards the end of the year in the playoffs. It's definitely not, we're not load managing. There's no load management like the NBA where they sit guys out. We're going to play. I mean, every game's a playoff game.
Yep.
I mean, that's just. It's not even cliche. It's fact. I mean, we don't know how many we're going to get, and got to take advantage and play well, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, key is getting your kids to understand that too. I mean, which I'm sure they do. I mean, because you look last year, and nothing against D&E, but D&E came up here and played outstanding early in the season, shot well over 60%. We shoot like 37%, and they beat us.
Right.
And you can't have it if it ends up being an 11-game season. A loss like that can be deadly to you or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, even in a 16-game season.
Yeah, even in a 16 game. So, I mean, everything is super. But
you go back to those new guys we were talking about, freshmen, and that's the thing. Like, the returners understand that. The returners have gone through that. The returners have had that kind of adversity and those kind of, it happens. I mean, anybody, the returners know, and they're doing a good job. Talk about Cole. Talk about Dale, Isaiah Sanders, Jack, Steve, all the upperclassmen are explaining to everybody. Obviously, I mean, the preseason polls haven't come out, but I'm assuming West Liberty's number one. I mean, let's
that's a good assumption.
I think we all know that they're going to be preseason.
That's tomorrow, by the way.
Right. So, regardless of it, Wesleyan last year beat West Liberty at West Liberty. D&E beat us at home. So that's our first two games. I said, guys, so our returns, not me. So it's better. It's always better come from players. Wesleyan beat West Lib at home. At West Lib. D&E beat us at our place. So we better be ready to play.
Yeah, no question. All right, speaking of polls, women's poll came out. Stephanie Anderson's club will also tip off the season on Thursday there in Buchanan, and the Fighting Falcons, with the return of Sierra Kochman at guard, is 5th in the preseason poll. Glenville, Notre Dame, Charleston, Concord, Fairmont State, West Liberty, State, Wheeling, D&E, Frostburg, AB, and West Virginia Wesleyan round out the top 12 in the Mountain East Conference. All right, again, reminder, we will be on the air at about 15 before tip-off. And, again, that's going to be a floating time this year because the women's game will end, I think it's an hour. Is it an hour, I think?
They're going to put 30 minutes up.
Okay.
There's any kind of time that's needed to sanitize and clean the facility, and we will get 30 minutes to warm up.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be a little after 7:30.
Okay.
Probably.
So either way, moving target. So just tune your radio in around a little after 7, and we'll hit the air 15 before tip for the Bobcats and Fairmont State. And again, reminder, give us a like on Facebook to the Fairmont State Athletics page. Give us a follow on Twitter. And, again, we'll have our post-game report that will pop on right after the game as soon as we can get everybody in their places. And we'll talk with Tim Koenig and some coaches. That's a new feature that we're giving the fans an opportunity also to ask questions post-game. So we look forward to that. Again, special thanks to Valley Distributing, Ford Funeral Home, Dan Cava, Vincent Slumber, and Harry Green, 7 Acres, for bringing you the Tim Koenig Show. We're back with you again with a lot more answers to these questions that we had here tonight next week from 7 until 8 o'clock. Thanks for listening and watching the Tim Koenig Show here on the home of the Fighting Falcons.
You've been listening to the Tim Koenig Show on Sky 106.5. For more on Fighting Falcon basketball, log on to fightingfalcons.com.
Lately, we're doing a lot more